Hello, welcome. I'm Leslie Piper, the housing specialist for Realtor.com, and I'm here with my colleagues Tapan and Chrystal, and we're here to talk about the myths of buying at home and to debunk those myths. Tapan?
I'm Tapan Bhat. I'm the Chief Product Officer of Realtor.com, and I've bought a home and sold a home 3 times.
I'm Chrystal Caruthers. I'm the senior editor at Realtor.com, and I write content on buying and selling and financing a home, and I'm also a former realtor.
So myth number 1, is buying a home just like I see on TV? Now, we all know that's not true. You don't buy the first home you see or one of the first 3 homes you see.
And you never even see 3 homes. It ends up being like, I looked at 18 homes before I bought the first house.
Right.
And it's not on a predictable pattern. It takes way longer than an hour or half an hour.
Right.
So it's just one of the adjustments that you make, because this is a process. It comes down to you finding about a neighborhood, finding about a home, finding out what you like and don't like, because very often you don't know what you're really looking for till you're in it.
That's so true.
Well, I think a lot of people spend more time looking at houses because you're going to spend more time there. The average family stays in a home for 7 years, so you're thinking about what you need now, but you're also thinking about what your life is going to be in the future. So it takes about 6 months is what you should budget to find the right home. And if it takes longer than that, then don't get discouraged, because it is a process and you have your realtor to help you through it.
So true. And I tell my buyers when they're looking to buy a home, we'll sit down and I'll say, you know what, let's go through the process and I'll explain to you how the buying process works. And it's all about starting to do your homework. And that includes looking into finding a mortgage broker or a lender that you can trust, getting them all the material so you can get pre-approved, and then getting an app. Realtor.com has a great app, and that's a great way to really select the neighborhoods, zip codes, or school districts that you want to be in, so you can get those daily and really know what the inventory is.
And you know, the notion of a neighborhood is really important. As Chrystal said, you're going to stay in the home for about 7 years. And so if you're going to stay there for a while, you have to plan and do research about, is this a neighborhood that's going to be right for you?
Yeah.
What are the schools like? You may not have kids now, but you will have kids at some point. What's the crime like? What's commuting time like? So all these things are information that you have to research. And the Realtor.com app and the Realtor.com site give you access to researching neighborhoods like that.
Yeah. So true. And you also have to keep resale in mind, because if someone stays in their home for 7 years, the market is still evolving and developing, and it's strong now, and it probably will be strong then. So, you know, be smart about where you're looking at moving to, but again, do your homework about the neighborhoods and, and what you're looking for and kind of what your needs are. So I say put your must-haves rather than have a list that has 100 things. You know, have a short list.
But I think when you're looking at a home, the more you look at, the more you narrow down that list, right? Because you're seeing what you get for the money. So as you're, you know, the showings aren't just to help you say, like, that's my house, but it's also to help you solidify what it is that you want in your head and what you can live with, and talk to your spouse about how you're going to make that space your own. It's, you know, it's a process.
So true. And that rolls into myth number 2. Myth number 2, will my first home meet all of the requirements? And as we just said right here, we know that, you know, firsthand that it's not going to be, your first home is not going to have everything.
You know,
that's why it's called your first home.
Exactly. So when I did my first home, I was one of these obnoxious buyers, like you see on these house hunter shows, where they want their granite countertop and their stainless steel kitchen and you know, I had such a long list. And I couldn't afford much. And my realtor, after a few times of hearing me go on and on about what I wanted, she sat me down and said, Tapan, you're not going to get everything you want to. You don't get everything you want to out of life. So what can you not live without? And you know, I made that list, like you said. And you'd be surprised at how you just don't need some things that you thought you did after you moved in.
Yeah, and I think one of the things you have to realize is that no matter how much money you spend, nobody gets everything that they want. Like, you can spend $1 million, you can spend $200,000, but nobody gets everything that they want on their list perfectly.
It's so true, and I think buying a home is all about making it your own as well. And so buying a home that maybe needs a new bathroom or kitchens gives you the opportunity to put your own personal stamp on it.
Yep.
And that is the fun part of ownership.
It's the fun
Absolutely.
part, and it's the best way to get appreciation. It's sweat equity.
It's true, yeah.
No,
It's a
but
great way to add
when-
value.
But as when you're doing that, I think finding the homes that meet the criteria that you're looking for become really important, because part of it is maximizing the use of your time with the realtor, because we don't have time to just drop everything and go looking for a house. And that's why the online research becomes so important.
Right.
What are the attributes of the house? Which neighborhoods are they in? Do they match the things you're looking for?
It's
Yeah.
true, and research shows that 90% of home buyers start their search online.
That's right.
And so online home search is so important.
Right.
And again, that's where the app is really important.
And yet the Realtor.com site lets you search by multiple criteria, and for 3 bedrooms, 2 baths. You know, what exactly are you looking for? Within which price range?
Yeah.
And we bring you a whole array of rich search tools at your disposal.
And it's good to research. All of that stuff helps you to solidify where you want to live and what you can expect once you get to the house in person, because you have to see it in person.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's one thing to see it online, and it's a very another different story than when you show up and
That's
drive up
right.
to the front door.
That's right.
So, myth number 3, I don't need a real estate agent. Now, is that true?
I would say no. I think one of the things that first-time home buyers have to realize is that they don't pay the real estate agent. So why not use someone who's an expert in the housing market that you're looking to purchase in, who does this every day, and they can help guide you through the process because they're familiar with it. They've seen it all. They've helped
true.
many people before you, and best of all of that is free until closing, and even then it's paid by the seller. So buyers need to know that they do not pay a 6% commission or any commission whatsoever.
But realtors are really important because they also help you navigate the process. It's
So
not
true.
just taking you to showings
Right.
or opening the lockbox.
Right.
It's really like holding your hand, because there's so much stuff that you have to do,
Yeah.
from the pre-research, but then your pre-approval or pre-qualification, or all these things that when you're just starting out, you go, what the heck are these things? Escrow? I don't know what the heck it is.
Yeah.
And if it weren't for my realtor, I would never have bought my first house. Because when we made an offer, there were 18 other offers. There were 18 offers on my
Wow.
house. And there were 2 of us who had the exact same offer. And the realtor, the listing agent or the selling agent said, okay guys, you have 24 hours, come up with with another offer, but there's someone else bidding against you. And my realtor, she was an experienced agent, and she said, Tapan, human psychology stuff that they're just going to bid $5,000. And I said, wow, I need to bid $10,000. And she was going, no, bid $5,500.
Like, step back.
Right.
And that's where a realtor comes in,
Right.
because they really understand the market, they understand psychology, and they understand how this process works, which regular home buyers and definitely first-time home buyers do not.
Right.
I agree. And from being a seasoned realtor and knowing the marketplace, I tell my clients that 50% of my job really is building relationships with the other agents. And
Yeah.
so if I'm going up against 15 or 18 other offers, because I have great relationships within my community, my clients 9 out of 10, if not 10 times, get the home.
Yeah.
Because I really have focused on building relationships. And those agents want to work with someone they know is going to get the job done. And that's just really important. So if you're not working with an agent, you're really putting yourself in a disadvantage.
I think that's one of the things that's seldom talked about, which is the relationship from one agent to the next. And sometimes agents prefer to work with certain agents that they know are easy to work with, because just handling the transaction from start to finish can be stressful. And you want to make sure you have a professional on the other end. So having a buyer's agent also helps, because the listing agent knows that the deal is going to get done because they have a relationship with your agent.
Couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
So true. So the next myth number 4, I played with the online mortgage calculator, so I'm ready to look at homes. Tapan, I know this is your area of expertise. Maybe you can shed some light for us.
So online calculators are really useful. We have a few of them in our mortgage center. It helps you decide how much of a house you can afford, what your financing options are. So they're really important. However, it's just the first step.
Right.
It's helping you figure out what's the cost of owning a home. What can I really afford? But that just gets you started in the process of finding a home.
Right.
Because you actually have to get pre-qualified and pre-approved if you want to be able to close on them, a home.
As a former realtor, I always say pre-qualified, 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 because what that's going to do is help you to narrow your search, because you're searching based on your financing. Not every home can use every type of financing, and the only way to know what type of financing you can get is to get pre-qualified. However, the online tools are great, especially Realtor.com's online mortgage calculator, because if you're sitting at home in your pajamas and you're just looking at houses and you want to get an idea of how much that's going to cost, the best way to do that is to plug in your income, plug in what you want to pay, and there it is. So
it's a warm-up.
It serves a purpose.
It's a great way to get started, to start the process, and then that's when you go talk with the real professionals.
Exactly.
But I mean, Chrystal, great point. It is a process, and that's really the bottom line. So myth number 5. I don't have very much of a down payment, so I can't buy a house.
Wow, that's one of the most common myths.
Yeah.
And that's really not true, because just as there's a house for everybody, for every style, there's also a mortgage for every
That's
style.
right.
And a down payment for everybody.
Well, I know I've written lots of stories about different financing options. So Fannie Mae has come out with a 3% down loan product that has no PMI.
Great
So it's one of those things that people just have to do a little more research or ask your realtor about different financing options. There are 5% down, 10% down, and of course 20% down financing options, but there's no reason to wait until you have 20% saved.
It's true, and I think just all consumers or potential buyers need to know that, because I think after we went through a recession, now we've done a turnaround, is they think that they have to have, like you said, 10 or 20% down, and there's just so many wonderful options out there. So,
and there was a time when that was true, but the market has evolved, and credit isn't as tight as it used to be, and that's why we're seeing 32% of new home buyers are young first-time buyers, because the restrictions aren't as tight as they once were.
And it's great for young buyers to be able to get into the market and to purchase that first home.
Absolutely.
Well, great. Thank you for joining us today. I'm Leslie Piper. I'm here with Tapan and Chrystal, and thanks again. Bye.
Bye.